Hey, welcome back to the Bakersfield Motorsports Power Hour and the Bakersfield Speedway segment, and a first-time co-host guest, Aaron Stewart, who does some scorekeeping out there and some racing and a variety of other stuff. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm very good.
Scott's got the weekend off. He's probably at Pismo or somewhere Hawaii or Carlsbad or somewhere cool. And
Scott deserves a weekend off. He puts a lot of work and time out there, and we're coming up on a week off, so thought it'd be a good idea to let him skip out early.
yeah, this is the annual the break that Bakersfield Speedway is always off. For the last several years, Scott's been doing this. They'll do the fireworks show on basically prior to the 4th of July weekend, somewhere in that area. Then take what's closest to the 4th of July weekend off. Kind of hiatus. It's been 17 straight weeks of racing out there, so plenty of racing. It's not like a week off is going to hurt everybody. It just gives everybody a chance to recharge their batteries, get going for another 8-week run before Labor Day weekend break. But pretty good deal out there, and I think the first slide shows, even though it was hot as Hades and a couple of racetracks canceled, Bakersfield Speedway went on, and this is early before the races started. See a pretty good crowd out there, probably around 6:30 at night, maybe 7 o'clock. And the races were set back an hour, I think, because of heat, right?
Yes, we moved everything back 1 hour. That allowed us to get more time in the dark, away from the heat,
Right.
and also allowed us to be able to make sure that our fireworks were going to be at optimal viewing times.
Times when it's plenty dark, and there's one shot from the fireworks, which we're back into the infield this year. So as fireworks show, let's go. How was the fireworks?
Our fireworks show are always amazing. Last year we had one little hiccup. We weren't able to do them from the infield, which is one thing that everybody loves about our fireworks show. This year Scott was able to work it back out where we were able to bring the fireworks in on a flatbed trailer and return the fireworks to the infield, and everybody had a wonderful time. It was a great show with a great photo.
Yeah, Tom's pretty good. He likes to get that stuff. And night started off. There's a IMCA heat race early in the night. This was an all-star series race, right? Part of a little series that travels throughout various tracks in the state. You said there were, 27, 28 entries for this race?
We had 28 entries for this race, a lot of out-of-towners. The series is going to be 13 races, and we were number 5. It was a great race. Robbie Sawyer started up front and was able to lead the whole way, but there was a large group of fast cars that came up who didn't get a great redraw and had to come up through the pack. The 111
It was driven by Steve Drake because
Drake.
Logan got dinged in the race before and wasn't feeling all that well. And Steve, I guess at the last minute, decided, I'll jump into this car. I hear the seat didn't really fit him that well because Logan and his dad, Steve, are of different sizes, let us say. But he got in that 111 car and drove it. So that was good to see him support the race, at least get in there. And obviously you can see this side-by-side racing in the IMCA modifieds, and you got the 98 car of Robbie Sawyer coming away with a win.
Yeah.
His second win of the season.
Yes, second win, and then also it's his second win of this tour as well. He also won previously at Petaluma, and that actually sets him third in this Western All-Star point standings.
That's a good deal. He's happy there, and it's interesting here. We'll look at the results. Robbie Sawyer gets the win. Troy Folger in that 49 car, Cody Laney in the 96, Steve Drake in the 111, and his first time ever racing that car. So, he's used to racing late models, but a race car is a race car for that guy. And then Bobby Hogue comes down, part of those guys chasing those tours, and finishes 5th. Interesting thing about Robbie, he's second in points to Brad Pound, 6th behind Brad, and he's missed a race. I would not have bet you could miss a race and be in a points hunt.
Yeah, the way IMCA's points are set up, missing a race can really hurt you, but if you can stay really consistent like Robbie has, you can really make up a gap.
Yeah.
And then Brad's had a couple bad races. This last race, he was running 6th with 3 to go, and there was a little stack up on the restart. Brad got turned around and ended up going back to the back and finished back in 13th.
And there you go. 1 point position, 40 points to win a race, 39 for second. So it's hard to make up if you lose a race, but hiccups and that stuff happens. So you also had a race we got the sport mod race first. Another good, you said 28 sport mods, right?
25 sport mods.
25 sport mods, one of the bigger fields of the year right there at what you would expect. This was the Richie McGowan Memorial Race, which is basically hobby stocks eccentric type of thing. But Richie was a great guy, so I think everybody wants to come out and support that, being the fireworks show as well. So good car counts out here for this. And Tina McGowan, Richie's daughter, Tina Pounds, I should say now, McGowan Pounds, in the 32 car comes out, and she did well in that race.
Yeah, Chris McKellar there challenged eventual winner Brylan Holder for a long time until he eventually ended up turning himself around, going to the back. And after that, Tina Pounds found herself second place. She's challenged hard with Brylan Holder, even found herself next to him coming to the white flag, but Holder had the preferred line and was able to get his first win of the year.
Yeah, and there's the shot of Brylan's car right there, so good win for Brylan, who's been knocking on the door, and obviously Roger Holder fields that car for his son, and Roger's top-notch equipment, whatever he drives. So Brylan in victory lane there. A good night for Tina, certainly, because she doesn't drive very often. She doesn't show up that often anymore and compete. So she finishes second in a field of stellar sports mod drivers. So kudos to her. Austin Kiefer comes in third, Jordan Hager in fourth, and Michael Johnson in fifth. So some really good drivers in that top five.
And Michael Johnson had to come all the way from the B main as well.
I saw that. So
even got caught up in we had one pretty bad wreck partway through the race where Wayne Kaufman's car broke and stacked up a whole lot of good cars, and Michael Johnson got collected in that as well.
Yeah, I noticed that B main. I saw Michael Johnson coming through there, so he had to start like 14th or 13th or something. Or that's a tough road to hoe. So good run for him.
It's never easy coming from that far back in the field, and with so many good drivers,
a short race. Yeah. We're not talking about 200 laps here. We're talking about
Sport Mod's run a 25-lap main event.
Yeah, not a lot of time to get to the front. And a race you were involved in, the hobby stock race. We have some photos from that one there. I'm looking here, and it's 3 wide.
Yeah, we were. The track got a little dry, but that just meant that everybody had to try and figure out where they wanted to go, and it was probably not till halfway through the race until everybody could figure out exactly what lane they wanted to be in.
And right there, we're trying to figure out if we can go 4 wide, which I guess you can in certain areas. Through the corners once in a while, you stack up that 3.5, 4 wide.
And right about there, we were all trying to figure out who was in the 52X car.
Because it was running really well.
Because Lonnie Spiller had originally been scheduled to drive that. Lonnie, our mini stock champion. But she left earlier in the night because her husband was being transported to the hospital.
Yeah, he got a little dinged up.
And a lot of the drivers were not aware of the replacement driver. And so as that car went straight to the front and ended up challenging for the win.
Everybody's thinking, who's in that 52 car?
I after the race, I went up and I kind of stuck my head in the window and I see the beard of Nick Spanehoward sitting there. I'm like, that makes sense.
All you had to do was look in and see the beard, and then you knew who it was. Yes. The beard, you didn't have to see beyond that because Nick has a great beard, I must say.
And Nick started dead last in the field and finished second place in a car he'd never driven before.
So that just shows that Nick, who's generally competing in the sports mod, and that's where he spends most of the time, hopped in there and had a little fun in the hobby stock race. I think we got a couple more photos here of a little action.
A lot of cars had some problems. Raymond Nolan there had to go to the back with a flat tire and came back to the front.
And the 4P of Chris Settlemeyer, who has had some problems this year, a variety of problems. He comes away with the win, so a good run for him.
That's his second straight win of the season as well.
So, and the car on the outside of him, Trevor Baker, he's leading the points, pretty good points lead, but good win for Chris. He's a big supporter of some charitable causes out there at the Speedway earlier this year. Autism Night, he was a big backer of that night and helped raise some funds for that. So good to see a guy like Chris Settlemeyer get in the victory lane. We didn't have a picture of Aaron this week. We had a picture a couple weeks ago of him, so I looked and I didn't see one from Tom, but you got Chris Settlemeyer, Nick Spanehoward, the beard in the 52 car there and the results. And then we go back there, Raymond Nolan Jr., Marcus Wonkum, and Aaron Stewart with the 5th. Now, are you back to racing just full-time or part-time in this car? Because
I'm racing about once a month. I'm enjoying a season of not points racing. I've points raced for about 12 straight years with, I think, one exception in there. And so I'm definitely enjoying a little bit of time off during the season. And
but the car is racing without you, so to speak.
It has raced without me, and it'll be racing probably without me again in 2 weeks.
And what's the difference now that the car is a little different from when you were driving it? Some changes suspension-wise, set up a little better?
It's been set up a little bit different. This last race was very hard to tell. The track was very dry, just from both the heat and the number of modifieds we had prior to our main event. But especially when the track is a lot heavier, the car is definitely a lot easier to throw into the turn. It's a lot easier to put it right up next to the wall, as I did a lot in the Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
And it's just been a lot of work to try different things on it to try and see what can be changed and make it a better car.
Okay. The last race of the night out there on Saturday was the American Stocks. Once again, this is a class dominated by Johnsons.
Yes,
You
four
can't
Johnsons.
swing a dead cat around the track without hitting a Johnson during an American stock race for sure. And no surprise there that when you get to the end of these slides here and we see the finishing order, that Tyler Johnson is atop the heap again, I believe, right?
Yes, Tyler Johnson. He drew a good number. He got to start up in the front, but it was not without
Because this is a draw.
challenge.
This is a draw. They didn't have to
Yes,
start at the back.
Every division Saturday night redrew for their starting position in the main event, which is just for the special big events.
And that's Tyler Johnson in the 24 car, Nicholas Johnson
His nephew.
in the one
and,
and
definitely made him earn
earlier
that
in the
main
11
event.
was Chad Johnson, or was he?
It was Cody Johnson.
Cody Johnson.
That's Chad's son.
So
Yeah, you
you
can build a family
got to have
tree.
a playbook. Yeah, that family tree is branches everywhere
Yeah.
in the Johnson family. But a good win. I mean, Tyler Johnson's been running strong, and those fifth win of the season for him. So
Yes, he's gotten a lot of the bugs worked out of that car. He's been very fast. Last season was very fast, but had a lot of mechanical issues that kept him from winning. This year they've gotten it figured out, and the results definitely show.
look, they're interesting. You got Tyler Johnson in the finishing order. Then we had Nicholas Johnson coming in second. Brandon Ratcliffe, who has yet to win but leads the points, and that's getting precarious. He's 4 points up on Tyler Johnson heading into this break. Cody Johnson in the 11 car, and Roger Welch in the 21R. And Roger hasn't made all the races this year, has he?
No, Roger started the season running his hobby stock some, and then partway through the season, I'm not sure if he has a mechanical issue with the hobby, but he has switched over to running the American stock the last handful of races, and then he's just decided not to run some races. So I'm not sure what Roger's schedule is like, but he has gone back and forth between the hobby and the American stock.
There, but yeah, good run in the American stocks, and as usual, a lot of Johnsons up there in the top five, which you're going to see in that. It used to be a lot of Childresses up there, but not so many running the American stocks now. So.
And that's not even all the Johnsons in the field.
No.
Casey Johnson, who is the aunt and then sister-in-law, aunt of Nicholas and Cody and sister-in-law of Tyler, also drives, and she's in her first year of American stock. She
And
finished a couple
like I
spots
said,
back.
you've got to have the Johnson family tree in front of you when you're trying to keep track of all the Johnsons out there.
Oh, yes.
So, but that's good. It's a family that's long supported Bakersfield Speedway, and it's good to see the continuing support. So, got that up. A little break this weekend. We got the schedule slide next, I think, coming up. You break this weekend for the, like I said, 17 straight races, the annual 4th of July weekend break. Going to come back with IMCA modifieds, hobby stocks, mod lights, mini stocks, mini dwarfs, and can't beat that, dollar
hot
dogs. So not a bad night. And then you come back on the 15th with the Wing Sprint, Sport Mods, IMCA stocks, American stocks, mini stocks, and free Coke night. So racing's going to go right on at Bakersfield Speedway, eight straight weeks after this break. And then there's a break on Labor Day weekend. Then race 2 is September, finish up the regular season, get ready for the Bud Nationals and the other end of the season races. So
Yep.
I want to thank you for coming in. I want to wish you luck in your next hobby stock race, be it sometime in August, I would imagine.
Yeah, we'll see how the weather feels.
Maybe September.
If it weren't for a race honoring a man like Richie McGowan, I might not have shown up this last Saturday. It was a very hot
Maybe
night.
we'll see Aaron Stewart out there in the hobby stocks in the Bud Nationals when it's a
I
little
will
cooler.
definitely be out there for the Bud Nationals.
Okay. Thanks for dropping in, and we'll be back next week with another segment on the Bakersfield Speedway as well as a full power hour. So until then, keep turning left.